I'm ready to share. If you've been following my channels for a while, you may have noticed that I used to be quite vocal about my personal life. Then suddenly, I went quiet. And now, I'm ready. I have a beautiful, energetic, luminous 4-year-old daughter, and she is the meaning behind everything I say and do. However, I didn't become a mumma in the traditional way. In my 30s, when sensible people are settling down to have families, I was living a dichotomy. I wanted a family more than anything in the world, but I kept making poor choices. Need I say more? Then one day I heard a foster carer being interviewed on the radio, and those 2 minutes changed my life. I soon found myself Googling and then calling the information hotline, and before I knew it, I was at an information evening. So here I was, loving and caring for these kids, whilst the hole in my heart for a family of my own grew deeper and deeper, and my biological clock ticked louder and louder. The more time went on, the further away my dreams of having a family felt. I was now in my late 30s, single, lonely, and heartbroken. Boy, was I awful to anyone in my life who was pregnant. I just couldn't stand to be around people who had what I wanted so desperately. It was like a mirror reflecting what a mess I'd made of my own life. Now, this story is really long and involved, so I won't go into every detail. But to cut to the chase, one day I decided to register to take on a child permanently through the foster care system, which takes me to the next chapter of my story. After 5 years, 11 months and 2 weeks of waiting, 3 babies who I loved but had to give back, nearly 20 court hearings, 801 emails, 1,002 sleepless nights, 2 bouts of gastro, a general anaesthetic, and many, many tears, prayers, and pooey nappies, but more smiles, hugs, and joy than I could ever dream possible. The family court finally gave me permanent care orders, which is also known as open adoption in some places, of my daughter. And what can I say? It was a roller coaster of emotion. So although I've never personally had a miscarriage or been through IVF, I have great empathy for my clients who do. As I hear about my clients' journeys of waiting to hear whether their embryo transfer worked, I remember the years of sitting next to the phone waiting to get the call. As my clients confide in me about their miscarriages, I reminisce about the girls who will always be a part of me and were taken away with only a few hours' notice. Having walked this path, I'm driven to do everything in my power to help other women become mothers. Now that chapter of my life has concluded, I've moved on to my next chapter, which, although I wouldn't change it for the world, comes with its own challenges. You see, my precious girl came into this world with a number of difficult health issues as she had no antenatal care. Now let me point out that I'm not here to blame. My heart breaks for my daughter's biological mother, who has faced so many challenges. I only know a snippet of what she's been through in her tough life, and it's just awful. But what concerns me and what motivates me is the impact that those 9 months in utero, or 8 months in my daughter's case, have had on my precious girl, who I love with all of my heart. So yes, our case is an extreme one, but directly seeing how those few months have impacted the rest of my daughter's life demonstrates to me daily just how powerful those few months are, and makes me so passionate to advocate for pregnant mamas to give their precious babies the best start in life that you possibly can, because that time in your womb is when your baby's hearing is formed, when their taste buds are formed, when their brain is formed, when their nervous system is formed, and so it has a lifelong impact. This special time in your womb is like baking a cake. If you leave out the flour or add salt instead of sugar, you may try to hide the problems by decorating it with cream or fresh berries, but the truth is, it's the ingredients that you add that really determines what it's going to turn out like. Now, my daughter is fun, kind, and most importantly, loved. And that's really what matters most. But because I love her, I want her to be able to succeed at anything that she wants to do with her life. So I can't help but wish that things weren't quite as hard for her. Wherever you're at in your journey, I want to send you love and encourage you not to give up.